Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another manga review. Today we're looking at One Piece Shokugeki no Sanji, or One Piece Sanji Food Wars, whatever you want to call it. And this is a pretty cool volume. It's a one and done kind of thing. You can read all of it in one go. You can read it as individual chapters because they don't really tie into each other. But you definitely need to read, I think most of One Piece to really understand what the hell this is about. So the author here is Yuto Sukakuda, I think. Sukuda, sorry. The art here is by Shun Saeki, and a contributor is Yuki Murasaki, which I think is exactly the same team that did Food Wars. So there you go. It's of course based on Eiichiro Oda's One Piece. This is published by Viz Media, as you guys can see right there. This is what the, spine looks like. Probably this way. Yeah. And the demographic, of course, is shonen because it is a shonen jump title. And the genre here is action, adventure, and it's also foodie manga, if you want to call it that, which is a genre that we don't really have here in the States. Like, the food channel is the only type of channel that makes content like that for normal TV. And I guess there's like baking shows and stuff that you can watch online, but it's not exactly the same as the foodie genre in Japan, right? It's more about liking food and enjoying the idea of food more than it is about a competition or anything like that, right? Although Food Wars specifically is about a competition, right? So, adaptations wise, it does not have one, but these would be really fun, volumes to add or episodes to add to the anime in some way when they don't want to do normal, storytelling. Like when they need to add in new things to bolster the anime episode count, I think that they should adapt this. But I don't know how that would work, right? And a rating for this book is a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's nearly perfect, but there's one or two things here that I didn't particularly love, so I'll mention that in a sec. In terms of premise, we basically have 6 different Food Wars style stories following Sanji across different moments in the One Piece series. So I'm going to talk about them chapter by chapter because that's the right way to set it up, but it will be kind of an overall plot overview of the story, right? So yeah, chapter 1 is before Baratie. So right before we meet Sanji, we get to see Sanji's backstory. He fights this food critic lady called Saverin, who is the tongue that spans the seas, and he cooks her a lobster dish, and that's basically all you need to know. For more information, you should read the book, right? Overall, it's a pretty good story. I think that the characterization of Sanji is pretty well done here. It's pretty easy to understand Sanji as a character. He escaped from his original family. He found himself on a ship. He enjoys cooking. He gets lost at sea. He survives barely thanks to Zeph, and they create a restaurant out at sea together so that no one else will feel the same way they did when they were stranded on an island, right? And so Sanji has an interest in making sure that people don't waste food. And that's basically the main issue that we see here, that the fruit critic Saverin wanted to waste food because she didn't think that the Baratie would even have anything worth her palate. And so Sanji has a battle with her about it. Chapter 2 is before Reverse Mountain, so right at the end of the prologue of the story, which is East Blue. Here we get to see that Sanji has to battle some salmon that are special. They're they're called dragon salmon, and these are very badass fish that require a lot of special skills, and they actually need a special type of sword, which is actually just a katana, in order to cut them. And Sanji and Zoro have to kind of work together to do this, and they finish off by having this party with a bunch of people that are celebrating a wedding, right? And this one was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Chapter 3 is at the end of Alabasta. So Sanji and Terracotta work together to feed Luffy. And then there's this really pretty dessert for Vivi. And I really, really enjoyed this one as well. I think drawing Vivi in this way was awesome. I really enjoy how Shun Saeki does, the female characters in One Piece. He does a great job there. Chapter 4 is during the time skip. So this is when Sanji is with Vankov at New Kama Kingdom, right? I think that's what it's called. Kamabaka Kingdom. And it's a pretty cute story. The characters are supposed to be like characters that are like not in drag, but kind of have that vibe to them. and it's about cooking in the outdoors, which I really like. I think it was pretty fun, and I enjoyed this because Sanji is like constantly like in emotional pain, right, quote unquote, because none of the women here are like true women in Sanji's eyes, and he thinks it's crazy, and it's pretty funny. But I did enjoy this chapter quite a bit. Chapter 5 is Early Wano. This is actually basically an explanation to how Sanji ends up becoming the guy that runs the soba stall when we meet up with him again at the beginning of Wano. So we get to see that Sanji fights his soba man, and he gets together with some of the crew that's already at Wano, and they make this awesome soba to gain a powerful position in the streets of the kingdom, right? It's pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. I think this is probably the most Food Wars-esque kind of story. All of the other ones aren't really about, you know, a food competition. These are all about different elements of food preparation, right? And food usage. So this one is probably the most, you know, Food Wars-esque chapter. And then chapter 6 is actually before Romance Dawn even started. So this is when Sanji becomes the sous chef of the Baratie. This is a story of Sanji as a child. And this one is really good. I actually really enjoyed it. So all of them are fun. They're all different levels of fun, right? I particularly enjoy the Early Wano story because it's the most like a competition. The Romance Dawn one is pretty awesome. And I would say that third place is probably the time skip story, chapter 4. So I guess the second half of the book is significantly better than the first one, in my opinion. In terms of artwork and fan service, the artwork is awesome. I really like the way that these guys draw. You know, it's not exactly like Oda. It has a different vibe to it, but it is pretty fun and enjoyable. And there's a nice definition to all of these characters that makes them unique, right? Different from what Oda draws them like, but still very recognizable. So I think it's good. There are some wild fan service bits because, you know, it is Food Wars. And the thing about Food Wars is that they have really wild reactions to the food, right? And the reason that I didn't give this a 5 out of 5 is because there are no color pages, even though they clearly exist. And this is mostly a complaint with Viz, and it is a complaint with this book specifically. But, you know, this should be a color page. This should be a color page. That should be a color page right there. And there's quite a few different moments throughout this book that should be color pages that just never are. And that's a big shame because One Piece is a premiere series. I'm already charged $12 for this book. It deserves all the bells and whistles. It's also only 6 chapters. I mean, I guess it's a slightly thicker book than usual, but Kaiju number 8 gets all of the color pages that they always have. So why doesn't One Piece get them, right? Especially in a one-off volume, that wouldn't be that much more difficult to do, right? So, everything in terms of artwork and fan service is awesome, except for the fact that none of it is in color, even though it should be. So that's really the only complaint here. But the artwork is really nice. See, I would have liked to see that in color as well. And let's see if I can find my favorite piece of artwork here. Yeah, there we go. That's my favorite piece of artwork there. And I think I just broke the spine in order to show you guys. Maybe not, I can't tell. Maybe a little bit, but it's not a big deal. It's not noticeable, so it's all good. But yeah, that's basically it. So ratings-wise, like I said, 4.5 out of 5 because of the lack of color pages. Otherwise, it's a pretty good story. If you're a fan of Sanji or One Piece and you like the concept of Food Wars, you should read this because it perfectly marries the two. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.